everybody, welcome back to In The Huddle. I'm Jillian Kushner. I'm a little under the weather today. The Texas allergies have come and tried to kill me, so I'm not feeling too great, but the show must go on. Today we're going to talk about the MVP, because I mentioned that in the last video, so we'll talk about that today. Before you go, please subscribe below and like the link in the description box, and let's get started. So in last week's video, I mentioned how Matt Ryan, the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, was a favorite amongst many to win the MVP and how I didn't agree with it. And I said, but that's for a whole other video. So here's your other video. So first we're going to talk about what the MVP is. Obviously, most valuable player. It's not hard to decipher that, but really what the award is and how it adds to somebody's legacy and all that fun stuff. So let's talk about that. So all major sports have an MVP award, but the way that they hand them out is different. In the NFL, they decide the MVP right before the Super Bowl. So I personally like that because I think it's best to do that at the very end. However, in the NBA, they decide the MVP before the postseason. So for example, last year, everybody knew Steph Curry was the first unanimous MVP, and that happened before the playoffs. So during the playoffs, that was like a huge storyline. So like, what's going to happen to the first unanimous MVP? And so I really don't like that. I think it's best to wait until the end. My issue with the MVP is in every sport, it's a popularity contest. That's just how it is. I personally don't think an MVP is more important than a Super Bowl ring or a championship ring. That's me. Some other people think it shows more about someone's individual performance. I just don't agree with that. I think that I'd rather have a ring than have an MVP award. I think a lot of players would agree with me. It's the people who don't have rings and have an MVP who would say otherwise. That's just my opinion. So in the NFL right now, the big contenders for the MVP are Matt Ryan, as I just mentioned, Tom Brady of the New England Patriots, Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. I think some people have Ezekiel Elliott from the Cowboys and maybe Dak Prescott. I don't know. They're not in it to me. I think it's between those first three. I think it's Brady, Ryan, or Rodgers. That's just how it is to me. I don't think anyone else really stands a chance. So like I said, a lot of people do think that Matt Ryan is going to win the MVP, and I don't see that happening. See, if y'all watched the Green Bay versus Dallas game this past weekend, you saw Aaron Rodgers. You saw what Aaron Rodgers does, and he is phenomenal. I just don't think that you can give an MVP award to someone who isn't Aaron Rodgers at this point unless it's Tom Brady. Hence why Tom Brady's in the mix. Tom Brady's always going to be in the mix because he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, if not the best. So Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal, but I can't put him next to Brady until he gets more of those rings, because right now he only has one ring and Brady has way more than that. So I think the MVP race is really between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, honestly, and it's going to come down to which team gets further, because I believe that they announced the MVP the night before the Super Bowl or the day before the Super Bowl, whatever it is. Pretty sure that's how they do it. They announce all the MVP honors, so it's like Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, yada yada, all that stuff. So MVP is obviously the biggest award out of all of those. So with that being said, if the Falcons do make it to the Super Bowl, which I don't see happening, but hey, if they make it, I would see Matt Ryan getting the MVP unless Tom Brady also makes the Super Bowl. Then yeah, that's not happening. But I'll talk about this more on Thursday, but we will see Matt Ryan versus Aaron Rodgers this next weekend, so I think that's really going to decide the MVP. In my opinion, I think those two are really deciding it. The issue with Tom Brady is he did have that Deflategate suspension, so he missed the first 4 games of the season. He's had a phenomenal season, better than most people who've played the entire season, but there's still that 4 games he missed. I don't know if there's like a criteria against that. I think that you do have to like play the entire season. I don't know, but Tom Brady has been phenomenal in the games he has played in, clearly. Again, I'm sticking with this. I think the game this weekend decides the MVP. If the Packers win, I think Aaron Rodgers is winning the MVP. If the Falcons win, which I hope not, then Matt Ryan is going to win the MVP. I'm pretty sure it's just going to come down to that. That's what it's going to come down to, is that NFC Championship game. So with all that being said, I will see you guys on Thursday to talk more about the conference championship games this weekend. I think it's going to be really, really fun. I'm excited to discuss those. And I'm super happy because the Cowboys lost. Y'all know I love that. So the Cowboys are out of it, and I was correct about that. I was right about all my picks this past weekend. Pretty excited about that. I'm just accurate like that. So let's see if I can continue my streak and get it right next weekend. Stay tuned for Thursday's episodes to see my pick. Thanks so much for watching.